Hello everyone. I hope you are all doing fine. Please enjoy my little presentation for you guys today. Without further ado, I will begin my short discussion by pressing this start button. Will be our map that will serve as our guide for today's topic. But before that, I will be introducing myself to you guys. Hi, I'm Ivan Rio Vanessa, and I'm currently taking up BS Information Technology at AMA University under online education program. This presentation is for my course project fulfillment in Programming 1. I hope you will find this presentation fun and informative. So the objective of this presentation is to provide a clear and concise discussion about these topics. So the topics that I will be talking about is the loops, array, and functions. So let's start with the loops. The first subtopic for the loops is the phases in looping statements and the three distinct looping statements. So let's start with the phases in looping statements. But before that, let's check what's the definition of looping. So looping in C++ means to repeat a series of statements based on the provided condition. Each pass in the loop is called a iteration. Also, a looping statement may undergo several iterations. So there are four phases in looping statement. The first one is the initialization. It is a phase in looping statements where a variable called counter is set an initial value. The counter manages the flow of the loop. Usually, each iteration relies on the value of the counter, similar as how arrays are utilized in looping statements. The second phase is the condition. It is the phase in looping statements where an expression is evaluated, which dictates whether the loop should stop or continue. The counter is usually the basis of this phase. However, that is not always the case. The condition always occurs within the parentheses of the loop. The third one is the phase. The third phase in the phase in looping statements where the statements inside the loop are executed. These are simply the statements within the code block of the looping statement. The statements within the body differ depending on discretion of the developer. The fourth phase is where the counter is incremented or decremented. So what do we mean by increment and decrement? So increment means a variable is added by a certain constant, while decrement, the counterpart of increment, means a variable is subtracted by a certain constant. So usually, the constant is 1. Depending on the chosen looping statement, the increment or decrement can occur within the body. The next subtopic is this three distinct looping statements. So C++ is armed with three distinct looping statements, which differ mainly on how the condition is evaluated and when the condition is evaluated. So the first statement is the while loop. It is a looping statement in C++ where the condition is evaluated right before the body is executed. The initialization phase does not occur within the looping statement or the parentheses of the statement. And also the increment or decrement happens at the end of the body. So the next one is the for loop. It is a looping statement in C++ where the initialization, condition, and increment or decrement phases occur within the parentheses of the statement. Only the body is separated from the actual for statement. Compared to while statements, for statements is range-based. This means that the counter is essentially the blood and life of these looping statements. The next one is the do while statement. It is closely similar to the while statement, but only differ when the condition is evaluated and when the body is executed. So the next topic that I will be talking about is dimensions of data types, specifically arrays. So what is an array? So an array, it is a variable that can contain more than one value of similar data types. They are also bounded still by the data type they are declared. For example, if we declare an array of characters, the values that it stores are all characters. Assigning non-character value in the said array would result to exceptions or errors. An exception is a programming language or developer-defined error that is result of inappropriate actions committed unexpectedly. So the next subtopic for the array is the syntax of the array. So its syntax is data type space variable name then size. So the data type, it is similar to how we declare variables, the int, short, long, etc. So, and the variable name, it is the typical alias we give the variable to reference in the future. The next component is the size. So size is a non-zero integer which dictates the maximum number of values that the array can store. But this syntax is only for a one-dimensional array or 1D array. So how about the 2D array? Two-dimensional array, this is its syntax. So data type space variable name, then row size and column size. So the last topic, but not the least, is of course the functions. So we have three subtopics here: the definition of function, the components, and its variations. So the first one, the definition, it is a separate code block which performs one specific task. And this separate code block can accept inputs from other code blocks. In addition, they can also return back values which can be a result of the actions performed within the function. So the next subtopic is its components. So a function is composed of several components which are similar to different programming languages. These components build the fundamentals of a function which are necessary to completely differentiate and define the role of a function from the rest of other code blocks. So the first component is the return type. It is a data type which the function shall return as its final execution. The second component is the function name. It is the alias which will be used as reference to the function. It is also similar to variable names. The only difference of function name from the variable is the presence of parentheses after the function name. So the next component is the parameter. The parameter is the component of function which enumerates the input values of the function. The parameter is placed inside the parentheses of the function right after the function name. The syntax for the parameter is data type and space variable name. A function can support more than one parameter. Should that be the case, the parameters inside the parentheses are delimited by a comma. So the last component is the body of the function. The body of the function is the group of statements within the code block of the function. Regardless of the design of the function, if the return type is not void, the last execution statement should be return value, return variable name, or return expression. So the last subtopic that I will be going to talk about under functions is the variations. So there are 4 variations of functions. The first one is the void function without parameter, void function with parameter, in function without parameter, and in function with parameter. So now let's run some examples regarding with the said topics. So let's check the first example. First problem. Okay, the first problem is write a program that shows each day, like day 1 or day 1, day 2 to 7 of the week for 3 weeks. So uh loop, this is under the loop topic. So a loop within another loop, it is called a nested loop. So uh the according to the problem, suppose we want to loop through each day for a week for 3 weeks. So to achieve this, we can create a loop to iterate 3 times or 3 weeks. And inside the loop, we can create we can create another loop to iterate 7 times or use 7 days. This is how we can use nested loops. So let's try it to let's try to write the code. So I already prepared the workspace. So this is the problem. Write a program to display 7 days of 3 weeks. So weeks equals to 3, then days in a week is 7. Or in, let's say I is equals to 1. I is greater than weeks. Greater or equal to weeks. See out week. Days in May, but then ako niya lang siya lang. Okay. So here, as you can see, we have displayed the day 1 to day 7 for 3 weeks. So this is the output for this the first problem. So let's check the second problem. Let's minimize this one. So the second problem is write a program that take inputs from user and store them in an array with no particular order. So I forgot to put the write a program that take inputs like five numbers, for example, five numbers from user and store them in an array. So let's try, let's open again the VS Code. Okay, so the second problem is write a program that takes input from the user. So let's add five, five numbers. Then store them in an array with no particular order. So let's declare first. See out. Please enter five numbers. And then, so here to store input from user to array. I is less than 5. I see in numbers see out the numbers are, so this is to print or to display the array elements. So for in let's check if the code is complete. So let's try to run. So here the program asks us to input a five number. So for example, 11, 55, 77, 22, and 44. So it should display these five numbers in an array with no particular order. So the first one we input will be the first one in the array. So here, so this is okay. We have written the code correctly. So the first one is the 11, 55, 77, 22, and 44. So here is the output for the second problem. Here. Wait, please enter 95. Okay, I will check. Wait, something is wrong here. Name function number. Okay, number. We forgot the S. So let's try again because so let's try to run the code. Okay, so the program asks us to enter five numbers. So 22, 33, 77, 888, and 1. So we have written the code correctly because it says here that write a program that takes input from the user's five numbers, then store them in an array with no particular order. Let's close the first problem. So this is the output 22, 33, 77, 888, and 1. So we are already done for the first and second problem. So let's check the last problem. So the last problem is write a program that display a sum of two numbers. So let's open again our workspace. So write a program that display the sum of the two numbers. So first we declare our variable. Wait. Declare our function. We declare our clear the function. So int. So the first number, the second integer, and int main. So integer sum. So this is for calling the function and storing the return value in sum. So sum is equals to add, for example, we add 44 and 12. So see out the sum of 44 and 12 is so sum. So let's put a period to end this output statement. Okay. Should be the answer should be 556. The answer should be 56. Okay, let's try to run the code. Okay, so the output is correct. So the sum of 44 and 12 is 56. So I guess we already answered the three problems. So let's go back to our slideshow. This is the end of my presentation, and I hope my presentation is informative and clear. So thanks for watching.